Have you ever stopped to think about how a regular school lesson can become something, well, something more? Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on a sixth grade English lesson and see exactly how it takes the simple idea of a theme and systematically turns it into a guide for how to live.
So how does that actually happen? I mean, how does a standard English lesson, the kind we've all sat through, make that huge leap to becoming a genuine guide for life? Let's trace the exact steps this curriculum takes. It's pretty fascinating.
All right, so every lesson has to start somewhere, right? And this one begins on very familiar ground for anyone who's ever been in an English class. It's all about the academic foundation. What exactly is a theme? The lesson defines a theme really simply. A message or lesson. It's straightforward, classic textbook stuff. But you're gonna want to pay attention to this definition, because this simple academic starting point is basically the launchpad for everything that comes next.
But almost immediately after setting that academic baseline, the lesson takes this really sharp and interesting turn. It pivots hard. We go from just defining a concept to applying it in a pretty big way in a section called Choices and Consequences. This is where things start to shift. And this right here, this is the key moment. The students get a multiple choice question about a story. But just look at the options. You have some that are pretty literal, like drums are loud. And then you have C. The correct answer, choices come with consequences, isn't just about the story anymore, is it? That's a universal rule for life. This stops being a simple reading quiz and becomes a very deliberate step toward a moral conclusion.
And boom, there it is. That's the pivot in action. This theme, choices come with consequences, is stark and it's universal. In this one moment, the lesson officially crosses over from literary analysis to a direct moral principle. The theme itself is the bridge that connects the story to a real-world rule. So once that bridge is built, the lesson walks the students right across it. It takes that moral principle and connects it to this powerful, really ancient metaphor, the sowing and reaping principle. And the curriculum isn't subtle about this connection. It states it outright. On the left, you've got the theme from the story, and on the right, the lesson makes a direct link. This connects to Galatians 6:7. You can't get much clearer than that. The line from a fictional story to a specific biblical principle is drawn right there on the page. Now, to make this idea less abstract, the lesson breaks down the whole you reap what you sow principle into simple steps. Think of it like this. Your words and actions are the seeds you plant. The results you get, that's the fruit they grow. Then it gives these really clear examples. Sow encouragement, you reap trust. Sow truth, you reap peace. It becomes a very practical cause and effect framework. And this isn't just some thought experiment. The lesson makes it incredibly personal by asking the students directly, what will you sow? It really pushes them to reflect on their own lives and think about their next actions. It's a clear call for immediate, real-world application. Okay, so we've seen the what and the how. For this last part of our explainer, let's zoom out to really understand the why. What is the core educational philosophy that's driving this entire teaching method? So what's the big idea behind all of this? It really just boils down to this single, powerful belief from the curriculum's authors. Education without morality will hurt. That one sentence is pretty much the key to everything we've just seen. The goal isn't just learning facts, it's about weaving those facts into a specific moral framework. The curriculum is also upfront about the source of this framework, stating that a spiritual mind leads to peace by referencing the biblical passage Romans 8:6-7. This makes it really clear that the ultimate goal here is a specific spiritual and mental outcome for the student. So we've traced this whole journey, all the way from a simple literary definition to a comprehensive philosophy for living. And it leaves us with a much bigger question to think about. When education teaches not just what to think, but how to live, what really is its ultimate goal?